What's going on, everyone? So for my latest video, this is part of a series where I focus on a specific composer and give you guys my top 10 favorite scores from said composer. Done such composers in the past such as Thomas Newman, Cliff Martinez, Alexander Desplat, and many more. You guys can check out those composers and there's many more down below in the playlist. But guys, you clicked on this video, so you know this time around I'm giving you guys my top 10 favorite Ennio Morricone film scores. So this is a composer that I have a great admiration for. I think that he is one of the greatest of all time, and he's done so many great scores, which is why I'm happy to report that at the end of the day, film is subjective, not objective, meaning that yours is going to be different from mine in terms of the list, and that's what's great about film as an art form. So I am looking forward to seeing what your top 10 favorite will be in the comment section down below. Maybe there's some films that I haven't seen, but regardless, I am excited to check out yours down below. But for me, I'll go from 10 to 1, with number 1 being, of course, my favorite score from Ennio Morricone. So sit back and enjoy, and guys, enough exposition. Let's get started. So kicking things off, I will do an honorable mention. An honorable mention we have is Death Rides a Horse, which I just realized I do not own just yet, but it is a film that I'm looking forward to owning. This is a really good Western. It's a film that heavily inspired Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, and the score is really good. It fits the film like a glove, and it's just really, really good. If you get a chance, I would highly recommend you listen to it on either Spotify or Apple Music. It's a good score. But yeah, that's why I said honorable mention. And now, guys, we get to the nitty-gritty, 10 to 1. So my number 10, we have The Untouchables. This is a really, really good score. Right from the opening credits, you can tell that you're in for a heck of a score. One of his best, of course, that's why it's my number 10. But it just does a really good job of reinvigorating the gangster genre in regards to the way it sounds. And I just think it works really, really well. And that's why I have it as my number 10. Next up, my number 9. This is a film score that honestly is so influential to the point of where it also influenced one of his other film scores that I'll also be talking about in this video. But my number 9, we have The Thing. So I mentioned how The Untouchables, his score did such a great job of making the gangster genre sound really fresh. Well, the same is applicable for The Thing in regards to it sounding like a very unique horror score. There hasn't been a horror score that sounds like this since then. I mean, it's a very, very fresh original score that honestly really sets the mood. Like, you can't help it when you're listening to the score, really feel as if you're with these characters in the snow, losing your mind slowly. So it's a score that I think doesn't get talked about enough, but it is an incredible score. And it's one of the first things that comes to mind when I think of this film. It's the fact that it adds so much intensity to the slow burn nature because of the score. So it's an excellent score. If you've been sleeping on the film or the score, highly recommend you check it out. And that's why I have as my number 9. Next up, my number 8. This is a film that I rewatched recently, and it instantly became a film that I will add to my top 250 down the line when I decide to reevaluate that list. But anyways, my number 8, we have Days of Heaven. This is a film that is beautiful, not only in regards to the cinematography, the production design, the directing, but also the score. I mean, this is a score that is just incredible. I'm pretty sure he got nominated for original score for this film. And the thing is with Terrence Malick is oftentimes with his films, the score isn't really utilized. It's very weird. Like you'll see like James Horner, his score wasn't really used for The New World, and because of that, it had kind of like a bad beef with Terrence Malick. But the thing is, with Days of Heaven, Ennio Morricone, I'm pretty sure that he had an okay relationship with him, and it shows because his score was used very effectively, and that's why I think that it's one of his best scores. I mean, I would highly recommend you get a chance to listen to it. It's one of the scores, it's not on Apple Music or Spotify, unfortunately, but I think it is on YouTube, so if you get a chance, I would highly recommend you check out the score. It's really good, and yeah, that's why I have it as my number 8. Next up, my number 7. I don't own this just yet, but I do look forward to owning it. Not sure yet if I want to wait until it comes out in 4K or just pick up the Blu-ray. But either way, my number 7, this is The Mission. What a score. What a score. This, I can tell you 100%, it did get an Oscar nomination in regards to the score. It's very effective. I listen to the score every couple months. I think it's a very, very good score, not only on its own, but also the film works so well because of the score. I mean, when I listen to the score, I think of the film. I think of the scenes in the film, and I really do think it matches the cinematography with ease. There are some emotional moments in the film that I think are so effective because of Ennio Morricone's score. So I love the score. I think it's so good. If you get a chance, I highly recommend you at the very least check out the score because it's really good. And Twilight is my number 7. Next up, my number 6. This is what won him the Oscar ultimately. My number 6 is The Hateful Eight. So I mentioned earlier with The Thing how that is a score that heavily influenced a certain film. And that's this film, The Hateful Eight. The Hateful Eight actually does utilize some pieces of music from The Thing that were never actually finalized. And by that, I mean that he did the score and everything for The Thing, and some pieces of music just weren't actually used in the film. So he would then, years and years later, use it for The Hateful Eight, and it would win him the Oscar. But it's a great score. Similar to The Thing, one of the first things that you notice about the film, besides the impeccable cinematography, is the score and how it sets you up for what you're in store for. And again, it's one of the best aspects of this film, which there are many. But again, he's a very versatile director, but in this kind of way, he's going back to his roots, because I would say he is best known for his Western films, and this was his last Western film that he scored. So it's a great film. The score, though, is just so good. He won a well-deserved Oscar for it, and Twilight is my number 6. Next up, we get into the top 5, guys. So my number 5, this is Cinema Paradiso, a film that, if you love movies, this is the film that you have to watch. It is one of the best international films that I've seen, but more importantly, the score is so good. I've mentioned with some of these other films how Ennio Morricone's score really elevates certain emotional moments, and that's definitely the case with this film. There are so many moments that have brought me to tears because of not only the imagery, but because of the score accompanying it. And it's an incredible score, one of the best I've ever heard personally. And again, it really is kudos to the composer with how well he did a great job for this film. So if you've been sleeping on this film for some reason, I highly recommend you check it out, especially if you love movies as an art form. So definitely recommend checking this film out. At the very least, check out the score. You'll be happy. Next up, my number 4, we have For a Few Dollars More. This is a great score. There are pieces of music in this film that have been used in variations across other films. I think the best example, at least the most effective, I would say personally, would be, I believe it was Kill Bill Volume 1, but most importantly, Fantastic Mr. Fox. There are certain tracks in that film that are clearly emulating the score for this film. And again, it's a film score that doesn't get talked about that much, but it is an incredible score. It really matches the Western action, the drama, the high intensity of the, pacing, the tone. It's a really good film, but again, that score is so effective. So if you've been sleeping on this film, I highly recommend you check it out. That's why I have it as my number 4. Next up, these next 3, I'm just going to say this right off the bat. These 3 are in my top 25 favorite films of all time. And the scores, it really depends on the day. Like, I'm filming this on August 30th of 2025, so these are my thoughts right now. But just know that this could change at any point in time, because all 3 of these scores, as far as I'm concerned, are some of the best scores of all time. And I don't think that will ever change, because it's just how incredible they are, how life-changing they've been for me. So just bear that in mind, but I love these next 3. So before someone's like, oh, why is this your number 1? Just know all 3 of these are like neck and neck. Like, they are so close to each other. So just had to preface that. But anyways, my number 3, we have Once Upon a Time in America. This is one of the most organic films that I've ever seen. It flows by easily, which I know some people might be surprised by because it's almost 4 hours long, but I just get so engrossed with the world building, the characters, the filmmaking, including the score. I think the score is honestly incredible. And one of the things that I haven't mentioned yet that I should have earlier is that what I love about Ennio Morricone is that he would use pieces of music to represent certain characters. So there would be like Deborah's theme, which is one of the best pieces of music I've ever heard. He has it for each character. And so when they're on screen and they're playing the music, it's even more effective because when you hear it, you immediately think of those characters. And I think it's great. I think it's one of those things where I love when composers do that. And he was one of the best that was able to do that. And in this film, it's really effective. So Again, I mentioned earlier how he was able to work within a lot of different genres. I think The Untouchables is a great score with the gangster genre, but you think of the score of The Untouchables and you think of the score of Once Upon a Time in America. Both gangster films, yes, but they sound so different from each other that it's amazing. And it again, shows his versatile nature as a composer. So I love this film. It's a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, that's my number 3. Next up, my number 2, we have Once Upon a Time in the West. This is incredible. I mentioned how for a few dollars more, there were certain films that have been, over the years, utilizing music for a few dollars more. Well, that's definitely the case for Once Upon a Time in the West. In fact, quick story, I'll never forget when I saw this film July of 2013 for the first time. I saw this film, and then a couple days later, I watched The Lone Ranger, the 2013 film, in theaters. And when I was watching that film, I was like, oh my goodness, some pieces of music that Hans Zimmer was utilizing were borrowing heavily from this film. And again, I just had perfect timing, but that's one iteration where it's like, oh wow, okay, there's certain things that are utilizing that. Rango is another Western where there's certain pieces of music, which also Hans Zimmer did, that are emulating pieces of music from this. This is one of the best scores you'll ever hear. I'm not even kidding. Like, this is an incredible, life-changing score that even if you don't like Westerns, if you at least like art house cinema, I'd highly recommend you check out the film. The score, I would highly recommend you listen to on its own at the very least. Like, if you're saying to yourself you don't like Westerns or art house films or dramas, at the very least, do yourself a favor, huge favor. Check out the score on Spotify or Apple Music. You'll thank me later. It's a life-changing score. Speaking of life-changing, my number 1, you probably guessed it, I have the shirt on. My number 1 is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So, when I first saw this film, I immediately said to myself, not only is this one of the greatest films I've ever seen, but it's one of the greatest scores I've ever heard. And to this day, I stand by that. Quentin Tarantino, it's one of, if not his favorite films. And throughout his entire filmography, there are pieces of music that have been used from this film. That's just how much that Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is influenced. You'll also hear this music in like commercials across all pop culture. It's one of the most influential films. And I think that for most people, they don't realize that it's coming from this film, which is why I say do yourself a favor and at the very least check out this film. But the score, I would also recommend you listen to on its own at the very least, because it is an incredible, life-changing score. It's one of the best, one of my favorites. I can put it on at any time, and I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. I immediately will think of certain scenes in the film. And going back to what I mentioned, how Once Upon a Time in America, the character themes that are utilized, like the music for it, is just, amazing. It really is. So I love this film. I love the score. And, when I think of this film, I think of that score and how it does so much heavy lifting. Again, it's not to say the other aspects aren't incredible. They are. But this score, it's so good. It fits the film like a glove. So Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, that's my number 1. But, guys, I'm curious. What is your top 10 favorite Ennio Morricone film scores? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm very curious to see what it looks like. Or at the very least, your top 5. Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching. Don't forget the subscription, notification bell, follow me down on Letterboxd, Patreon, and I will catch you guys later.